I would like to thank everyone for joining the sessions today. For the first sessions, I would like to start with our first speaker, Miss Musfiah. Is that right? So maybe if we could start with yours first, and then
Yes, I'm Musfiah Saidah.
All right, great. Okay, so maybe we can start with yours, and then I will call the next
Okay.
speaker.
Can I share screen, Miss? Share screen. Wait, I will share my screen presentation first. Do you hear my voice?
Yes, it's clear.
Okay.
I believe
thank you.
someone will enable the share screen.
I'll try. I hope I can share screen by myself. Okay. Okay, everyone, can you see the presentations?
Yep, it's clear.
Can I start?
Please do. Yeah.
Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially for our moderator. My name is Musfiah Saidah from Syahir Hidayatullah, Jakarta, Indonesia. In this such a very golden opportunity, I would like to tell you about my presentation, research and idea that tell you about gender-based violence in online media. A study on Generation Z oversharing behavior on Instagram account. So let's start from the introduction. Why this topic is very interesting to discuss in these special occasions. As we know that now the issue about the privacy, especially in gender, have an obstacle. Why? Privacy in digital media, as we know, seems to be faced with the phenomenon like freedom of expressions. Like in Indonesia, we have the rules about the freedom of expression. But media with the benefit, with the function, push us to share about our activity, about a picture, location, and many more. The obstacle faced about the expression without the control. Why? Because this opening up opportunities for personal data to open. On the other hand, we know that social media can be means of communication, but the other side, media social can give us the bad influence, like the privacy violence. So, what is the gender issue in this research? There is research that tell about women are more sensitive to social interactions, including silent treatment, while men have a tendency to ignore the strategy. So what is the correlation between the privacy issue between the media social and the gender? Because between men and women have different strategy to keep their privacy in social media, especially in this research we'll talk about the Z generations. Okay, next. About the element of privacy. In this research, I'll tell you about the communication privacy management theory. What is the theory? This theory have three elements: privacy ownership, privacy control, and privacy turbulence. The theory from San Antonio tell us if everyone has the ability to convey or store informations. In the privacy ownership, talk about the information we have and others don't know. And the privacy control, we talk about the privacy involved decision related to providing information to other parties. And the privacy turbulence, we tell about the privacy management doesn't work as expected. So in this theory, we have that there are three steps when someone have privacy. First, they keep the privacy in the ownership. Second, they share information with the other parties. And the third is when the privacy have turbulence or violence from the other people. Okay, so how about the research method? Research method have the three approach. First, the qualitative study and the paradigm with the constructivism. And the data collection technique, we have observation, interview, and documentation. Who is the informant in this research is the Z generation in the range of age 18 until 25. So what is the result and discussions? In the result and discussion, we have the privacy ownership that tell us about the social media user have rules, but the desire for actualization and self-disclosure becomes collective property. And the privacy control, we know that social media users are often faced with the choice of storing information in its itinerary parties opening it through a second account. And the third, in the privacy turbulence, we tell about the threat of privacy violation can also occur the second account and even lead the split in the friendship. So from the third step of the privacy, we can know that between men and women have a different strategy, how they can keep their privacy, how they can keep the rules, especially in the second account. Second account in the Instagram have the function. In the main account, especially men and women use it for the branding of their self. But in the second account, they be real of the identity. They can free to share about their story, about their activity, and anything. They just be their self in the second account. So what is the conclusion? The conclusion tell us about the managing privacy on social media is absolutely necessary. Social media users are often faced with the choice of storing information, entirely partially opening it through a second account. However, the threat of privacy violation can also occur in the second account and even lead to splits in friendship. That's all. My name is Musfiah Saidah. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Musfiah Saidah, for the interesting presentations. I believe we will go through all the presentations first, so I really hope if you can stand by, and then we will open the question and answer after the session's finished, yeah? All right, thank you so much again. And let's proceed to the second presentation. Dr. Maria, do you want to start first, so then I can leave mine last? Are you ready for your presentations? If yes, then we will start with yours first.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
All right. I will give
you.
to all the esteemed speakers first, then I will present mine last. So if you don't mind, we will start with Dr. Maria, and then we are waiting for for Prof. Christelle. So if you are here, if you can notify us, that'll be nice. Thank you. And Dr. Maria, session is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Is my screen visible now to everyone?
Very clear.
Okay. Oh, wait. Sorry. Okay, so a pleasant day to everyone. I am Professor Dr. Maria CRISELLA MERCADO from Pampanga State Agricultural University, Pampanga, Philippines, and I am honored to present to you my research titled Exploring Digital Competencies of Student Leaders for Effective Leadership in a State University. So 21st century is what we call the digital age. Leadership is not just about inspiring people face to face, but about navigating technology with purpose and precision. Digital leadership encompasses more than just technological adoption, as mentioned by Bagesa and Jonathan in 2020, and according to Asibuche in 2024, the concept of digital leadership is the result of industrialization revolution 4.0's comprehensive impact on mainstream of education. 4IR refers to the current era of connectivity, advanced analytics, automation, and advanced manufacturing technology that has been transforming global business for years. A paradigm shift is required within the academic institutions to emphasize the importance of digital competencies. Several studies have recently affirmed the positive correlation between digital competencies and leadership effectiveness. It is becoming common for student leaders to navigate intricate digital environments, utilizing technology to improve organizational effectiveness, collaborations, and communications. Despite its importance, digital leadership confronts numerous and significant challenges, which includes resistance to change, limited resources, and rapid technical innovation. Limited resources such as funding, infrastructure, skill gaps, integration issues, data security, and privacy, and experienced individuals make it difficult to implement initiatives as suggested or initiated by Chen et al. In 2021. Filipino youth leaders benefit most from both directive and supportive approaches, styles that could be enhanced through digital competency trainings. This study explores the digital competencies of Pampanga State Agricultural University student leaders for their effective leadership in the digital age. So for the objectives of the study, the general objective is to examine and enhance the development of digital competencies among student leaders in Pampanga State Agricultural University with the goal of empowering them to lead effectively in digitally mediated academic contexts. Specific objectives include, number one, to identify the digital tools common to student leaders. Number two, assess the digital competency levels of the following categories: information and data literacy, digital communication and collaboration, digital content creation, digital safety and responsibility, and digital problem solving and leadership adaptability. Specific objective number 3 is to enumerate the digital skills that student leaders aim to improve. And lastly, to propose strategies and recommendations for integrating digital competency training into student leadership development programs in the university. This research utilized a mixed meta design combining structured surveys and semi-structured interviews to assess and explore the digital competence of student leaders. Conducted at Pampanga State Agricultural University, the study involved 112 student leaders from various colleges and organizations. Stratified random and purposive sampling ensured a balanced and diverse participant pool, adopted and expert-validated instruments from established sources, guided data collection, while analysis employed descriptive statistics, item-level breakdowns, and thematic coding. Ethical protocols, including informed consent and data privacy safeguards, were integrated throughout the research process. For the results and discussion, Table 1 illustrates the frequency with which Pampanga State Agricultural University student leaders respond to questions regarding the digital tools they commonly use in their leadership roles. It gives a picture of the technological landscape shaping students' leadership practices. From the table, it implies that student leaders are highly reliant on productivity and design tools, specifically Google Apps and Canva. On communication platforms that remain central to leadership operations, student leaders prefer to use Messenger, Facebook, and Zoom. On the other hand, minimal use of platforms like TikTok and Instagram may indicate a focus on functional tools over social media branding. Table 2 discusses the level of competency of student leaders in its 5 categories. On information and data literacy, It has achieved an average score of 4.56, which corresponds to strongly competent. This score suggests that most student leaders effectively navigate, assess, and use digital information. They likely feel confident in searching for credible sources, analyzing online data, and distinguishing between accurate and misleading content. This implies that student leaders can strategically leverage data for leadership decisions, making informed choices that align with goals. However, continued focus on critical thinking and ethical data use could further sharpen their digital literacy. On digital communication and collaboration, the acquired average was 4.43, with the competency level relatively high. It may indicate areas needing improvement in how student leaders communicate and collaborate in digital environments. Some leaders may find online engagement less effective than face-to-face interactions, struggle with formal digital messaging, or lack experience in coordinating virtual teamwork efficiently. For the digital content creation, an average of 4.48 was acquired, with descriptive rating of competent. Student leaders have a decent grasp on creating digital content, whether it be presentations, reports, or social media materials. They likely understand multimedia formats and can produce leadership-related content. While scoring well, there might be gaps in creativity, branding, and audience engagement techniques. Leaders may struggle with how to make their content truly stand out or convey complex ideas effectively using digital tools. For digital safety and responsibility, the average acquired was 4.62, which is the highest among the categories. This suggests that student leaders are very conscious of online security, privacy, and ethical use of technology. They likely understand how to protect personal and organizational information, follow responsible digital practices, and mitigate cyber risk. The high competency could be due to past awareness programs, institutional cybersecurity policies, or personal experiences that heighten safety precautions. Lastly, on digital problem solving and leadership adaptability, the acquired average was 4.42, the lowest score among the categories. This suggests that some student leaders face challenges in applying digital tools for problem solving and leadership adaptability. Possible barriers may be due to lack of hands-on exposure to real-world digital leadership challenges, limited experience in using digital tools to solve organizational problems, and difficulty in adapting quickly to new digital technologies. The total competency level reached 4.5, which indicates that PSAU student leaders are strongly competent leaders. This implies that PSAU has a strong foundation of encouraging students in becoming leaders of the university. Table 3 shows the identified responses of the participants based on the interview about the digital skills they want to improve as student leaders. On digital content creation, this highlights the importance of visual communication in student leadership. Leaders recognize that persuasive and well-crafted digital materials enhance engagement, helping them effectively promote events, campaigns, and organizational goals. On data management and analysis for decision-making, leaders increasingly value data-driven decision-making, recognizing that analytics and organized information can enhance strategic planning in student governance. On digital communication and collaboration, digital leadership is not just about individual competencies, but collective coordination. Leaders recognize that effective digital communication fosters teamwork and enhances productivity in student organization. On advanced digital and technical skills, the responses suggest a growing curiosity about emerging technologies in leadership. While not universally prioritized, some student leaders understand the need for advanced digital knowledge in the evolving professional world. Lastly, while digital skills are crucial, student leaders recognize that technology must complement, not replace, interpersonal leadership abilities. The challenge lies in integrating digital tools while maintaining strong organizational leadership principles. Table 4 serves as a roadmap for aligning traditional leadership skills with essential digital competencies, directly addressing the evolving needs of student leaders. It's divided into two primary columns, the strategies and the course of action. Enhance leadership adaptability development through coaching, mentoring, and reflection, especially in adapting the digital or to digital demands and change. Boost digital communication and collaboration, recommends platforms and training to improve teamwork, online etiquette, and use of collaboration tools. Strengthen digital content creation, focuses on tools and programs to help student leaders design, curate, and distribute impactful digital content. Reinforce digital safety and responsibility, prioritizes cybersecurity, digital ethics, and informed decision-making in online spaces. And lastly, advanced problem solving and adaptability, develops strategic thinking and responsive through simulations, case analysis, and tech-driven problem solving. For the conclusion, this study provides valuable insights into student leaders' digital competencies, showing strong foundational skills but gaps in adaptability and problem solving. By implementing targeted training strategies, experiential learning models, and digital-first leadership frameworks, institutions can prepare student leaders for the ever-evolving digital landscape. The critical role of digital skills in modern leadership includes problem-solving competency, digital collaboration tools, content creation as influence, digital resourcefulness, and precision and accountability that ensures accuracy and professionalism in leadership communication. For my acknowledgement, the author acknowledges Hong Kong Baptist University and all the organizers of the summit for the opportunity to share her research output, and to the support of the Dean of the College of Education, the Vice President for Academic Affairs, the Vice President for Research, Innovation, Extension, and Training, the University President, and all the student leaders of Pampanga State Agricultural University. This study would have not been possible without the full cooperation of the student leaders. Your insights are highly valued and appreciated. For the references, these are my references. And before I end, let me say, empower yourself with knowledge and responsibility to shape a better digital world. Thank you for your attention and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, Prof. Maria Mercado, for the presentation. Interesting presentation. So it's kind of build up from the first presentations to the next one. So it's very interesting. I'm very sure there's a lot of questions that would come in the Q&A. Right. So thank you again. Prof. Christelle, would you want to start with your presentation first, or would you need more time to get prepared?
No, I am prepared. The only thing that I could not activate the virtual background.
I see. Okay.
So I don't know how to activate that, but except that I'm ready if you want.
Okay. If I may ask the organizer, are we allowed to proceed, or would anyone be able to assist with changing Prof. Christelle virtual background? If we're allowed to proceed, then maybe we'll just
I think we
proceed.
have shared.
Yeah. So I believe
Hello, Professor Pursu. And I think we have shared the background to you through the email. And if you have difficulty to find the background, we can send the virtual background to you through the chat box. Do you mind we share the background to you through the chat box?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. No worries.
All right.
And before that, Mira, maybe you can share your speech first.
Yeah, I think I will proceed with
Thank
mine
you, thank
and
you,
then,
thank you, thank you.
yeah, I'll proceed with mine and then Prof. Christelle while you are while you're receiving the background, and then we will proceed with your presentation slides. Is that okay?
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
okay. All right. So I believe the organizers will reach out to you and share their virtual background. And as soon as your virtual background is up and my talk is concluded, and we will proceed with yours. All right. Thank you again, Prof. Christelle. Right. So let me just start with mine. I will be talking about a lot of points that Prof. Keiko mentioned during the keynotes actually kind of resonates with my presentation. So I will just try to conclude on key points that may be relevant to all of us, but a lot of things that has been shared during the keynote would very much resonates with my talk today. All right, so I just want to make sure I get the right screen. Okay. All right, so I will be sharing with everyone today on the topics of our sessions, which is on professional development and future leaders. So my talk, as I have shared the abstract in the websites, is on the future leaders, future worlds, and building digital competencies through collaborative online international learning. My name is Mira Kartiwi, and currently I'm the director. I'm leading a center called Center for Professional Development, which in this case, our portfolio is to provide trainings for all faculty members. We have in IUM, we have 1,000, as of last week, we have 1,894 academic members. So all of those academic members will have to attend at least a few hours of training in our center. And also I'm a faculty full professor of a Faculty of Information and Communication Technology. Right. Before I get into the talk, I think I want to reflect upon our journey as an educators. We have been trained. Many of us, we have achieved to the stage of very mastered in terms of content, mastery in terms of the topics that we deliver in the class. But how often are we reflecting upon the students that we are actually teaching in the class? Just to share with everyone, I have 2 Alpha Gen at home, and I learned from how to educate, to approach, to instill values and whatnot from my own children. In the university, on campus, I learned from the Gen Z. At home, I learned from Alpha Gen. So it's a very interesting, it's a very unique journey that I learned from all of them, because then I realized they have a different needs, and they have to go through a world that is different from our present, let alone our past. The question is, how do we prepare them for their future? So I kept thinking to myself, I think this is the frequent questions that I personally has, as well as a center, we also have to think and reflect upon these questions every day, because we are preparing educators for tomorrow. So one of the questions that I usually ask in every sessions to my colleagues is whether our traditional education models truly prepare them for the world that is openly interconnected, complex, and will they be able to lead in the future? So let me reflect again on the journey of IUM into COIL, because this really, really opened my eyes on addressing some of these questions that I posed earlier. Just to introduce on our journey to COIL. So COIL in IUM started during COVID. So when everyone has to learn on the fly, on adapting with the e-world, e-learning and all those kind of things, because not all actually embraced the e-teaching or e-learning before COVID. So while we are helping our colleagues to learn on the fly, we also received an offer. I was actually approached by one of the senior professor and asked whether the center that I was the portfolio, I was the deputy director for the center before I started leading on 2021. So in 2020, I was actually the deputy director of e-learning. He asked, can the e-learning units actually taking these projects on board, because we have one partner from US which is ready to take this to take the project seriously. So in this case, when Prof. Hamza, which is a very senior professor, approached me and asked that kind of questions, I was very nervous. On the same time, I feel very honored, because nervous in the sense that we are still adapting to the e-learning. I mean, like, I have to make sure that my colleagues adapt well to the e-learning. And now we also have another project, which is we have to propose on the same time, which is the global virtual learning. But knowing that the senior professor bring that narratives up, I feel so honored, because I have a model here that can showcase learning is possible at every age. And the fact that he is willing to go through the training with us, he's willing to share the experience, and he's willing to take the first project on board, that speaks a volume of the missions that we have in our center. And we have Dr. Yunus Mirza from US, also making sure that everyone that is on board will get a partner, whether it's from Shenandoah. So happened my first project actually with one faculty members from Bridgewater College is so meaningful, because that's the first time when we conduct the project, we also go through the trainings together. All of our colleagues actually the colleagues that I mentioned earlier, the 4 colleagues that we had and committed to the project, gone through the same training, the same sessions as training, the training as other colleagues from Shenandoah and Bridgewater College. It was very meaningful, and that's again speaks the volume of our commitment, because the training was conducted morning in US, so it is evening or night in Malaysia. And when we have finished the project and we are expected, and CPD is expected to make sure that the initiative sustain, I have to start thinking on how to prepare this, not for a sprint, because it was a sprint. I have to do it very quickly during the COVID, but I also have to make sure it is a marathon. It has to be sustainable. It's for a long run. So I have to start thinking on what would be the best strategy to convey this to a much larger audience. And knowing that a lot of people still have a lot of apprehensions on online learning, let alone on global online learning, I have to change the narrative. So in this case, I have to convince both faculty members as well as the students that it has values. And I ask a lot of experience reflections from students that have gone through this, and to the level of not only knowing on how to do, knowing on how to do COIL, but also how it actually affects them in terms of professional life, because I was teaching a final year students, and then they bring those experience to the working environment, and I ask them to reflect, and that becomes the fuel where I can bring the narratives back to the educators. Students can experience this, so it is worth the pain for everything that we design in our course with COIL. Again, I also showcase the projects that our senior faculty members has. This is the projects that I have. We actually conducted data analytics on impact of COVID-19 on education and business. My colleague from Bridgewater College was teaching a history of math. I was teaching data mining. So in this case, we are trying to find a way so that the topics can still, we achieve the learning outcome. At the same time, we also achieve the global competencies that we aim to achieve through this project. So it is very interesting, and the students actually require us to analyze data. On the same time, we want them to also learn about how cultures affect the interpretations of those data analytics. Let me then proceed to the introducing this as part of the journey for preparing future leaders. I believe in every project, at whatever scale, whatever audience it is, I believe the right thing to do is to produce and to introduce the right why. Okay, because if we started with the benefits, I'm worried or if we start with the benefits of the students, faculty members might think, what is it for me? I mean, like, how do we make sure that my workload will not be doubled with this project? So we introduce the right way. Now, one of the things that actually the narratives that we bring to the colleagues is about all of the, because it is part of the requirements that all of the programs should have those collaborative elements. So one of the things to make it more interesting, because everyone will have to do it anyway, so there's no additional job. It's just to change the activities rather than doing it within the class. We're doing it with our partner, in which in this case we hope that you will be able to see something beyond just collaborations, something beyond just working together. We want to see collaborate across cultures. So in this case, then again we ask if the students graduate, how prepared are they in terms of working with diverse background and global teams? And then only we have a lot of interest, faculty members which is interested to dig further on those kind of competencies. And also, this is another question that we usually ask is, given the speed of global change, are we as educators doing enough to ensure that our students are not just keeping up, but also ready to face the global challenges? We throw the questions about the climate justice and all those kind of things. How comfortable are you to deliver this kind of talk when the students are basically there just to absorb? So in this case, we want them to reflect upon what do we talk about when we are talking about climate justice and all those kind of things. How do we put that in terms of data analytics and whatnot? So all these kind of things really enhance the kind of discussions that we have in the class. And also, we have been talking about this, and I don't think we have stressed this enough, on the critical thinking, civic engagement. But what does it mean for the students? So we have to also realize that when it comes to the students, the future leaders of the world would need to see that whatever they learn is just not just about passing exams or building up portfolios on how many degrees do they have. It's beyond the consumptions. So in a way, when we bring COIL to our class, we want to push them into collaborative, because I keep receiving a lot of questions. Why do we have to do this? This is international university. Why do we have to have COIL? Naturally, every class is international. We have international students in every class. But my question is, have you designed the class so that the students experience the environment of international university? And I think most of the answers that I received so far is, of course, we often overlook on those values that we have in our university. So it doesn't mean that just because it is international university, we are intentional on producing activities in the class that enable them to learn from different cultures. So now we want to emphasize that it pushes them to actually learn not only within the class, the people that they see face to face on every class, but also people from different culture, millions of miles away. So in this case, we want to execute everything by design. And also, we also want to produce a sense of this environment is a safe, structured environment. Every activity has a purpose. Every activity has a meaning. It is intentional. It is not just for the sake of having it. We want to see how can you learn from different perspectives, understand different cultures, and how do you practice empathetic communications. So in this case, that elements will bring a different kind of flavors to the activities. And last is on broaden the horizons, appreciations of interconnectedness. It's very heartwarming when I listen to students, especially when the COIL is finished, in terms of how they learn from the partners institutions, the students from partner institutions, navigating the different times. And some of them I very honored to say that they are not just a friends in terms of COIL, but also they becomes a friends after COIL. They build a friendships and whatnot. That's really meaningful for me, and that's kind of put meanings to why I keep advocating COILs up to date. And last, just want to again remind our colleagues on how important it is for us to move beyond pedagogical approach, the traditional pedagogical approach. The world change, the needs change. So it's only fair for us to adapt to that by learning and keep learning that there are a lot of things which we have to see differently today. If our students can learn so fast, and I remembered I said this just just yesterday to my children, like they are currently in school holiday, and I asked them, you have one half month school holiday. I want you to learn as many AI tools as you possibly can. I give them the numbers on how many AI tools they have to learn, because I want them to see that when they learn things and they put some sense of emotions in it. For example, I want them to create something, but also present that. Learn that from other people on how they can, for example, craft stories. I want them to craft stories about something on a countries that they have never visited. So all those kind of things that give me, when I see my children learn, when I see my students learn, I have a different perspective on the pedagogical approach that I have been learning all this while. The things, and I realize a lot of things have changed. And also it changed the perspective on the curriculum development and also internalizations. And of course, for us as an educators, as part of professional development, networking is a must. It's a necessity. So through COIL, I learned on how the same topic is delivered in different ways by colleagues from different countries and different institutions. So in this case, I learned to debunk and to address the myth that probably I have been perceived as impossible. And also, of course, through COIL, we are actually trying to highlight the potential for them, not only just for teaching in the class, partnership in terms of teaching in the class through COILs. I also managed to identify friends for research. So in this case, I think this is something that our colleagues sometimes, when it comes to teaching, they want to take it differently, but when only through COIL, and then they put research element into it, then they started to see, okay, so there have been rooms for improvement, not only in research but also in teaching. So that's one of the things that we also want to promote through COIL. And through COIL, we also advocate in terms of aligning with the course objective. So it's not, again, just for the sake of students communicating from different countries or different cultures. There are specific objectives that we want them to achieve, and we want them to reflect upon it. Do you have that? Do you gain that experience through COIL? And also select appropriate technology and communication tools. It is very important for all professional development or Center for Professional Development. When you advocate COIL, you also give us a list, or you also provide a way to ease that transitions from a traditional approach to now with a COIL projects. How would you navigate the kind of conversations? How would you navigate in terms of technology adoptions in the COIL projects? And of course, assist our colleagues in preparing the students for international collaborations. What happens if there's any disagreements? What happens if there's any conflicts? And all those kind of things. The more our colleagues realize that the support is there, the more easier for them to embrace this change. And again, future leaders, future world. We hope that with this journey, we are preparing them for much more meaningful and intentional change, that we ourselves is the first learners in this COIL journey. So that will be all from me, and thank you again. We will have the question and answer after the last speaker. So I will stop my sharing. And I will proceed with the last speaker, which is Prof. Christelle de Brito. If you're ready, then we can start with your session. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can you see the screen?
Very clear. Thank you.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Christelle de Brito from the University CEU Cardenal Herrera in Valencia, Spain. And I am very delighted to share with you our experience of integrating, extending reality into higher education. So I'm going to present a project that involves a lot of different professors of the faculty, and especially Empar Garcia Rosello, Javier Cabañero, and Mira Garcia Rosello. So this project was conducted at the CEU Cardenal Herrera University, and our university offers multiple programs, including veterinary medicine and communication with special tracks in journalism and audiovisual communication. As digital literacy is increasingly recognized as a key skill to integrate the workplace, our students need to be fluent in digital tools and technologies, and we as instructors have to develop and integrate new training so that our students get more hands-on activities with immersive technology. Extended reality is such one technology. It includes augmented reality and virtual reality, and those technologies are transforming education because they allow the visualization of complex content, and they allow us to simulate real-world scenarios in safe and controlled environments. And this is something that is especially important in fields like veterinary medicine, where traditional training normally involves live animals. And this use of live animals raises concerns about animal welfare, but also about risks that are associated with animal handling. So recent studies have shown that extended reality can reduce the need for animals. It allows students to practice procedures, to explore anatomy, and develop clinical reasoning. And in some contexts, it has been shown that the use of extended reality can enhance learning outcomes, student motivation, and knowledge retention. So this technology can be seen as an interesting complement for traditional methods. However, the implementation of extended reality is often associated with technical barriers. It can be costly, it can be time-consuming, requiring special efforts and training for the instructors. And this is a challenge we aim to address. Since 2022, we have been developing an educational project that is called Transpavet. It is based on an interdisciplinary collaboration, as it brings together instructors and students from 3 different disciplines: veterinary medicine, journalism, and audiovisual communication. And over the years, this project has grown, and more than 300 students and 12 instructors participated. Our principal aim is to encourage student reflection and critical thinking on animal research. So we ask our students to explore and to communicate specific topics related with animal research. But we didn't want those reflections to stay in paper. We wanted to give them more significance So we decided to use extended reality to disseminate those reflections beyond the university walls. So we had to find a way to transform the student works into 3D objects that would be visualized in augmented reality and virtual reality. This way, without our students would get more familiar with extended reality formats and would enhance their digital skills. But to do so, we had to find a platform that it would be easy to use for the students and where it would be easy for us to integrate content. And we chose the Clone digital platform, which is a browser-based platform that requires no installation and that supports visualization of 3D objects in both augmented reality and virtual reality. And this allowed us to focus on the content rather than on technical challenges. As a result, our students created 35 posters about animal research. Then the posters were converted into 35 clone posters, that is to say 3D object that could be then integrated into the clone digital platform to make the posters accessible on connected devices such as computers, mobile phones, tablets, and so on. And this approach allowed the visualization of the posters in augmented reality. So here you can see an example of a poster that is not real, it doesn't exist, but it is included in the image on the device. And the posters could also be visualized in our metaverse in virtual reality. And one important thing is that the content can be easily shared using QR codes. So if you want to try, here you can scan the QR code to access to the collection of posters in augmented reality and in virtual reality. This will give you direct access to the posters without requiring any special installation. And you will be able to see that the platform offers a user-friendly interface. It's very easy to see the content. You can zoom into the posters. You can also access active elements through information panels. And something that is very important in the context of education is that the platform offers tools for managing the participation in real time. So this is something that is very useful in classroom settings. Importantly, the platforms gives metrics that you can see very easily. You can follow the number of views of each work. For instance, here this posters is about an animal model, and it has received more than 300 views since its integration into the platform. And the color here indicates when each work has been viewed for the last time. Green indicates that the poster has been viewed during the last week, black during the last month, and red means that the last view was more than 1 month ago. The platforms also give the possibility to rate the content using this star scale that is very visual. The platform also gives information of where the content has been viewed from, countries and cities, and from which kind of device, if it's an Android, iPhone, and so on. In our case, our clone posters received more than 3,000 views from all over Spain and from more than 10 countries in Europe and also in Argentina, Ecuador, Salvador, Mexico, Costa Rica, and in the United States of America. So this experience allowed us to assess the platform and the key outcomes we identified were as a easy integration and visualization of content, both in augmented reality and in virtual reality, as an easy follow-up of metric that allows us to study the reach of our content and the easy international access. That is a point that can be especially important in the context of this presentation for people who are looking for a platform for international collaborations. In the next months, we plan to incorporate an avatar to enrich the digital experience of our students and our visitors. Here we have prepared very small videos just for you so that you can have an idea of how it looked like. Here you are.
I'm Eben, the avatar of EvaTech EduLab. In our group, we research how new technologies can improve teaching and students' digital skills. We're looking for synergies with other research groups. Would you like to collaborate? Hi, I'm Eben, the app.
And finally, we are developing activities for veterinary education in order to introduce digital anatomic structures like bones, so that our students can virtually handle those structures on their personal devices. So as a conclusion, the use of the platform Clone Digital was easy with relatively low technical barriers. It enabled the engagement of more than 300 students and the dissemination of their work beyond the academic sphere, reaching an international level. And something that is important is that the platform is adaptable across disciplines and institutions. If you want more information or want to participate in future collaboration, you can contact us by mail. And finally, I want to thank all the people that made this experience possible, both students, but also instructors and administrative personnel of the University Seu Cardenal Herrera. And a special thanks also to the director of the Clone Digital platform and for the group Animal Research Tomorrow that is promoting our work. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Prof. Christelle de Brito, for the presentation. It's very interesting. It's I love everything related to XR. So I'm going to visit the QR code that they shared just now, and I'm very sure my children will also be excited looking at the projects that you're working on. So thank you so much, Prof. de Brito. I think now we can proceed to the question and answer. I would like to open one first question first to audience. If you would like to ask directly in the chat box, or if you would like to unmute your microphone and ask the speakers directly, feel free. Do we have anyone that would like to ask the questions directly to the speaker? Okay, if not, then just to get the ball rolling, let me just ask the question, especially to the first two speakers, Prof. Mercado and Ms. Musfiah, because your presentations is very much related. You were talking about, both of your presentations were talking about the digital safety and responsibility in a way. Ms. Musfiah, you're looking at on the something related to the gender violence, and then Prof. Mercado, you're talking about the competency on its own. So we know in the class sometimes we do have these challenges where the students are not really equipped with those knowledge. So if I may ask Ms. Musfiah first, what kind of things that you would expect? I assume you are students, is that right?
Oh,
You
no,
can,
I'm a lecturer.
oh, you're a faculty member. So as a faculty
Exactly,
member
exactly.
in Indonesia, do you have any kind of competency that you are trying to build in day one, just to make sure everyone has the competency that the students are safe when they are interacting or communicating through digital competencies? And I would then proceed with Prof. Mercado with the same questions, if you don't mind. Okay, so maybe Ms. Musfiah, do you mind to share your experience making sure that address in the first day?
Okay, thank you, Miss Mira, for the very good questions. Thanks for your questions. First of all, I'm actually a lecturer of communication, and one of the focus of my research is about digital literacy. So, in the first step that I do when I meet the student in the class, I try to give them information, education about how we can use the social media. But we have a special way, like talking the issue, like what is the FYP, or we can know for your page in TikTok or in Instagram. So I try to make the issue, make the attention with the similar topic that near around them. After that, if we have a similar issue, like usually they say, Miss, in the Instagram, in the TikTok, we have issues about the close friend, about the second account. After that, I try to make the information what is we can do and we can do not do in the social media. So the first step I used to make the to educate my student is with the cases. And the second, we give the literation. And do start from the cases and the end from the literations. And the second, I usually give them the issue based on the social media, and we can talk about that in the next week. So in the class, I always try to make sure that my student have a good perspective, women and men, about the how we can do in social media. Thank you, Miss Mira.
All right, thank you so much, Ms. Musfiah. Let's proceed with Prof. Mercado. Any thoughts on the same questions, Prof?
Yes, good afternoon once again. Thank you for that question. Regarding our practice in the university, so we always make sure that our students follow the stricter rules on the use of the digital technology. So number one is that even in research, we always make sure that they observe the ethical considerations, and they have to get the consent form from all the participants of the research. We also have to include in our researches Data Privacy Act statements, which assures the respondents that all the information are strictly for the use or for the purpose of the study. And we always have this training with them. So we educate them on cybersecurity. So as faculty members, we also remind them of what to post specifically on their attire, on the way they dress, the way they talk in social media. So as much as possible, our management information system, it's a unit in the university that sees to it that all the usage of the internet inside the university is not using websites which are not educational in purposes. So there is a personnel monitoring the websites used by the students. So we have this Wi-Fi in the university. However, they give a limited access on the use of the internet, and that's how we observe the digital privacy and security.
All right, thank you so much, Prof. MERCADO. So if I can conclude from the two speakers' presentations and Q&A just now, we are focusing on picking something that is relevant to the students, and also you put some guard, making sure a preemptive guard are actually enabled to avoid such inconveniences in the future. All right, thank you so much. Before we conclude, I just want to ask one question to Prof. Christelle, if that's okay. If you're still around, Prof. Christelle.
Yes, I am.
All right. Okay. So one last question and a quick one. I just want to make sure. Sometimes I'm just want to make sure the students have that competency of technology, but also the challenges on perceptions. That's when we are introducing, for example, XR. Usually the students get excited with the tools rather than with the learning process. That's what we expect to happen. So how would you, again, making sure that it is the learning outcome is properly and consciously addressed by the students, and their missions with those tools? If you will
Yeah.
might share. Thank you.
Something that I didn't explain into details because of the time of the presentation is that the students work in small groups of 3 to 5 students, and each group works with an instructor, and during all the process, the instructors and the students work together to prepare the work, so to analyze the information, to collect the information from proper sources of information, for the preparation of the content of the posters. Everything is done with the supervision of the instructors. And we during the project, we asked the students both about the content of the posters, so in this case the content on the different topics related to animal research, and we also asked the students to answer some specific questions about the use of the platform. How do they perceive the visualization in augmented reality, in virtual reality? So this is a very supervised work. The objectives, the educational objectives for both the scientific part and the technological part is very well detailed, and I think well communicated to the students. And through the process, we have different questionnaires we ask our students to answer.
All right, thank you so much. So it's the expectations is well articulated. So you articulate the expectations as well as you monitor the process. Right. Okay. Thank you so much. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. I would like to open one last questions if there's any burning questions before we conclude the session. Is there any questions from the audience? Okay, so seems obvious.
Sorry, Miss Mira, I have a
Sure.
questions.
Mhm.
Thank you for the opportunity. Especially it's just a general question, so I hope I can get the answer from Miss Mira, Miss Chris, and Prof. Christy. Okay. As a lecturer, I always face the big question in my mind, how we can handle the big challenges about the AI, because based on my experience, it's very hard to stop my student to use AI like ChatGPT and many more. So what is the standpoint and what we can do? Because I think we can deny the development of AI in education or in any area. So what do you think? What should we do? And how we can get the AI function as good things, not only for the decrease of our brain. Thank you, Miss Mira, Miss Chris, and Prof. Christelle. I hope I will get the answer from you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Musfiah. So if I may start just very briefly, because in our center, we have to promote in Center for Professional Development, we should not be skeptical with technology, and we have to put everything in perspective. So we advocate a proper use, responsible use, a meaningful use of every technology, including AI. So in this case, I believe there are a lot of rooms in which we can explore, and we should, similar with any technology, we should put a proper guarding rail and handheld support if needed. But perspective is that whatever tools, it will be meaningful if we using it intentionally. So that's the mantra basically that we put in our center. So yeah, so we are not skeptical, and in fact we advocate responsible use. Right, that's from my side. Prof. Brito or Prof. MERCADO, what you want to chip in?
Do you mind if I start?
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay. I think that we should really engage a debate with the students, but a reflective debate. And maybe we can start with a simple question, asking them if they would put their name on a work they haven't done. Do you see what I mean? And from this very first question, try to make them think about what they are going to do and why. And then to conclude with the how. Because I think that it's much more important that the student would reflect on this question than to provide answers to this question.
Right, thank you. Thank you so much.
I love the answer, and conclude with how. Very
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Okay. So Prof. MERCADO, you want to share your thoughts?
Yes, we are not encouraging, but as well as we also do not discourage our students in the use of AI. So what does that mean? So when we say we encourage them to use the AI, say for example in research, so we know that we are definitely promoting the use of AI in research. However, we make sure we always tell our students that when they do research, so they can be assisted, but definitely they should not be overrated, or they should not be dominated by the use of the AI for the results and discussions of their study. So on the part that we are discouraging them, so let's say for example, I am a mathematics teacher, and what I do for my students not to use AI in doing assignments or homeworks. So I give them the problem, and I know that it is easy to use the AI like Symbolab or the Math Solver by Microsoft. Um, so what I do in the classroom when we meet again, so I ask them to personally solve the problem on board. So if they are able to solve the problem that I have given them, then it means to say that even if they are assisted by AI, then that means they learned from the use of the AI. But if they were able to submit their assignment, and yet when I asked them to do it on the actual computation and they failed, so that means to say that the use of the AI is not helpful to them. So that's how I make sure. I am very strict in the use of AI inside the classroom. So in the classroom, I also tell them that cell phone is not allowed. Therefore, they cannot browse any website during classes. So it's basically a traditional lecture that I conduct. Even if they say that I'm a traditional sister, I stick to it because I know that it is better for them to learn the actual computation than depending on the use of the AI.
Yep.
I hope that helps.
Thank you so much, Prof. MERCADO. It's really wonderful, and I think it's a long journey for us, or for all of us, to learn all new technology, which is, of course, we cannot stop, but it's coming in our way, coming, changing the way we teach and learn. Right. So thank you again to all speakers. It's such a wonderful sessions. We really, really learn a lot, and I myself learn a lot from all of you. I'm really, really thankful for the sessions. Before we conclude, I have the organizer, Miss Maggie, actually requested for everyone to participate in this, to fill the evaluation form. So if everyone could kindly fill the feedback form. I'm trying to put this in everyone's chat box, so you can also download and then fill up after the sessions, just in case you cannot finish to fill up today. And then again, on behalf of the organizers, I would like to thank everyone, and I would like to thank organizers for having me in the sessions. I'm very sure it's not the end of our journey. We're gonna somehow, our path will cross someday, and I'm looking forward to collaborate with everyone. Okay, so from me, thank you so much again, and have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye.